because your only job is to get yourself in sage. So instead of focusing on him, really, before, during, and after, focus on you, sage. And your sage knows.
Wow, that's very insightful. Thank you.
I would just like to highlight what Cheryl is offering here. It's just so powerful.
Yes, very powerful.
You know, so often our focus is on how can we get our clients into sage, and that it's really this, you know, just like you said, Karen, creating that safe container. How do we do that? It's with our own sage presence, just like Cheryl is offering here. Such a warm welcome to everyone who is joining, and we're so glad that Karen joined, is joining us for the first time and joined early. So great to see these beautiful faces. You might notice we have a slightly younger face than you might be used to seeing here. So everyone give a big wave to Anurag Nambiar, who will be hosting a breakout on teens, for teens, all about PQ and teens. And in addition, he is our PQ for Family Life interns. So he is behind the scenes, uploading the recordings, following up with the breakout hosts. And so a big thank you to Anurag for his service to our whole community of practice. And how wonderful, as PQ for Family Life, here we are, and we have Family Life joining us live right here. So in a minute, Anurag will introduce himself further. I want to do something just a little different as we started today. So many of us are coming in and already knowing each other. And for our sage presence, just an invitation to do a simple centering. So we're going to slow down here and really access some of our sage navigate power. And so can close the eyes if that feels good. And just take a couple of fuller and deeper breaths. And let the out breath go with a sigh. Or even just feel a sense of no hurry. And I'm actually going to share one of Anurag's favorite ways to access sage, which is a 10-second holiday. So for 10 seconds, just feeling that there's nothing you have to do, no standard to live up to. It's like a vacation from everything for just these 10 seconds starting now. And then you can gently open the eyes, come on screen. And maybe find someone, maybe someone you haven't gotten to know as well. And just do a couple of visual PQ reps, perhaps on the color of their eyes. Becoming really present to what there is to be present to right in this moment. And so the kind of opening question I'd love for us to share on today is just to take a moment and contemplate a real life story something we've experienced that we could then share with each other in a couple of sentences that reminds each of us of the importance of the work we do in this world. So I know we've all had impact in our own lives, the lives of our families, the lives of our clients. So just picking one kind of way that we can remind each other of the importance of the work that we do in the world. And we won't be able to hear from everyone, but we'd love to hear from a few of us. And especially if you are new here. So Karen and perhaps Kaylee, this might be your first time joining us. Okay, so we'd like to make sure we have space for the two of you to share. We're just opening up the floor here. What's a story that could help remind us all of the impact we have in the world? Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
I had the privilege of working with someone who was 18 at the time, and he tried to take his life 3 times. It was very stressful because I wasn't sure, whether I could connect with him. And then a year later, he wrote me a card, his graduation card, and he said, "Thank you so much for consistently showing up and never giving up on us." And that, it was just the best thing that I could hear, to know that I do make a difference. Sometimes we question whether we're effective.
Can we all just breathe in and breathe out, taking a collective breath with what Karen has shared? And I'm just wondering, Maddie, if there's anything you would like to share, especially on the heels of what Karen has shared.
Yeah, I just, wanted to kind of take a breath in that heart space as well. Karen, I don't think we've met before, but I do a lot of work in suicide prevention. And so this is something that is very close to my heart in terms of being comfortable and skilled in asking our clients this question about if they're having thoughts of suicide. And I really hear and feel and see the impact of what your how that could have impacted you, and the impact that you were having as a coach in that moment for your client to be able to hold that space so wide and so deep for something so serious and difficult. So I see you, and I honor your experience, and you are making a difference.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to also share that I'm a suicide survivor. 30 years ago, oh, sorry, my dogs. I learned a lot. And I think when we are in that space, we have more compassion. But thank you for saying that. It meant a lot to me.
And for people who are joining us, we are each having an opportunity. We won't be able to get to everyone, but to share a real life example that can remind each of us, just like Karen has done so beautifully, about why the work we do is so important in this world. Maybe we can hear from a couple other voices. Just claim the space and go.
I can share that working sometimes with parents and children is, you get them over something that's making them crawl up the walls with frustration. So it was about a month ago, a parent reached out into a local WhatsApp group. The fact that she could barely go to the park anymore because her 8 and 9-year-old autistic child, had been pushed over by a couple of dogs in the preceding years and almost nipped by one dog trying to grab a sandwich off of him. And he became phobic to dogs. So I reached out just saying, I've no idea if I can be of help, but if you'd like to trial this, I will give it a go. Because I'd recently trained and added in EMDR, eye reprocessing within my skill set. And she sent a message the day after saying that they'd gone down to the park and he even cycled towards dogs, which is the first time he had done so probably in his life. It's not stayed that way. I met her recently at a fair, and she said, well, half there still, more to go. But it meant that they could go to the park every day. And the park is only 200 meters away from them. So they were going past dogs every single day. And every single day he was going, becoming hysterical. And when a dog becomes hysterical, the mum becomes so stressed. And to be able to take that stress off of somebody, boy, did I celebrate that. Just because that's just one person. I just wonder how many more there are out there that our work just person by person, child by child, just takes that load off. Maybe not the whole load, but some of it.
Let's take a breath here with Chloe. Just breathing that in. And would love to hear one more share, and then be sure to have time to just welcome in people who are new to our community today.
May I share something that's more with adult clients?
Yes, of course. Family, I've heard that families include adults.
Well, that's true. I hope I took the focus away from kids. That's so important.
No,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
I working with people who are neurodivergent, that means that there's a lot of emotional hyperarousal and a dissociation for adults. And I have two clients that come to mind all the time. One is a clinician, and she is dealing with trauma in her childhood, but her imposter syndrome, her judge, her hypervigilance. She would dissociate in the hallway, moving from practice room to practice room in front of her colleagues, to the point that she had to go to halftime. She could not handle the work. And she uses PQ reps in the hallway, and she doesn't dissociate anymore. And I have another client who we don't know what's going on. She's had all kinds of tests, make sure she doesn't have epilepsy, but there's some type of vagus nerve dysregulation that happens for her when she gets extremely stressed. And this is a person that has practiced Zazen meditation for years. But she uses PQ reps to keep her nervous system regulation with some beta blockers to help her. But it allows her to intercept these episodes before they happen, not all the time, but a much greater percentage of the time, so that she is able to go intercept the episode and then go to work. So the less disruption to her life. And it's just and these are people that are working with therapists and psychiatrists and all of that. I don't claim to be offering any therapeutic modality, but what PQ offers is such a wonderful adjunct to what they're doing already. And yeah, it's just very exciting.
Let's take a collective breath with you, Tracy, and the impact you have had on lives. And just checking in with ourselves and our own inspiration meter. Right? So we face many challenges in bringing this work into the world, many challenges. And one of the things that we so hope that this space can provide is a place to refuel in our inspiration, in that deeper navigate meaning of what we're about. And so just shake your hands around if you're feeling like, oh yeah, I'm a little more charged up. Okay, ready to maybe take on this week at another level. And I want to let there be a lot of just space for going deep. Fortunately, that means I'm going to shortchange some of the introductions. And so can we just like welcome, just put our hands up and welcome anyone who is new. So welcome to this community. You will find we are not a scary bunch. Unless you're like already like, this is too wacky. All right, I'm out of here. All right. So very warm welcome. And if you could just introduce yourself, maybe say where you are in the world and your niche in one sentence. So if you're new, can raise your physical or digital hand and just claim the space. Just 3 sentences, your name, where you're from, and your niche in one sentence. Or it's like, I'm just here because I'm interested in learning more about what you have to offer. Yeah. Haley, would you like to kick us off? I know you're on your phone. Zoom on phone is like something I'm still trying to figure out. Let me see if this works. Go ahead, Diane. Yeah.
Everyone. I'm back
Welcome.
now. Calling in from San Jose, California. Good to be here. Just interested to see, how this group can work together to support families and community, and got family challenges of my own. I graduated with cohort 17 cohort, so I've been to other communities, and this sounds like the more tangible one for real life application of PQ. So thank you.
Family life is often where the rubber hits the road. So yes, very, very, very warm welcome. And that's why we bring in guests. Tracy will introduce herself in a moment. Very quickly, Karen and Kaylee, see if you can unmute, okay? So quickly, Karen, yeah.
I am Karen Gibson from Hawaii, and I am here for support. I'm a family and parent coach. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I
Kaylee.
finally got it. I'm sorry. It went on some weird thing. My name is Kaylee Johnson. I'm from Northern Minnesota. I am a caregiver wellness coach. So I support caregivers in not losing their own identity. It's such so many family caregivers out there. So that's how I'm connected to the family piece.
Warm welcome. And Ray, Maddie, could you kick us off with the coach offerings? And I'll post in the chat.
Absolutely.
30 seconds on your coach offering. I know that's
Yes.
gonna be hard.
No, it's okay. I've kind of already talked about it a little bit. Hi, my name is Maddie Brown. I offer a once-a-month opportunity to engage in coaching conversations as we explore the topic of suicide and how it impacts our role as coaches. So you're invited to come and join me. I take on 12 participants maximum per session. And we really talk about how we can integrate the PQ operating system into this topic of suicide and make it a little less scary, and how to navigate those conversations. I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you. And the link is in the chat. So please click that link and equip yourself. Cheryl, how about you? 30 seconds for your coach offering.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Staller, a PC parent coach for parents of kids who are diverse, neurodiverse, twice exceptional. And I am the coach at the Tilt Differently Wired Club. And I offer once a month free group parent coaching to address your needs as a parent. We need support in our personal life. So that's where I do it.
Support yourself in as a parent, and also learn from a master parent coach. Kathy, how about for you?
Hi, everybody. So I'm Kathy Moore, and on the first Friday of every month, I have a small group mentor coaching opportunity. In the chat, you will see the link to get onto the email listing, and it's a 90-minute session for you to have in-depth kind of deep dive into confidence in your coaching competencies, or to work on your business strategy. And I mentor coaches.
And if you've experienced Kathy's magic and you want to give a thumbs up, yes, go ahead and show us. Yeah, so yes, very, very powerful. And now we get to preview our breakouts. So in a moment, we're going to go into 3 breakouts. You're going to have your choice. It's going to be hard to choose, but they will be recorded as well. Let's start with Amy Moser, co-chair Amy Moser. What have you got in store for us?
Well,
Little
I've got
teaser.
a winging it session today. It's about PQ and your family, even if they haven't done the program. And it's really inspired by me using this coaching model with people who haven't done the program, especially navigate and innovate. So we're going to use that. So we're kind of delving into the new PQ coach model, which like Jeff has done with groups. So it's going to be a kind of group using of that. So yeah, just brainstorming, innovate, and navigate will be like really relaxing for you to just imagine your family life.
Awesome that you love the new PQ model. If you haven't checked it out, oh my goodness, it's amazing, 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 so powerful. Our very special repeat guest, Tracy and Cindy, are going to be offering a Q&A on the intersection of PQ and ADHD, and they have a big presentation as well, but this can be a chance for you to interact. Tracy or Cindy, take it away. How would you like to preview your breakout?
I'll hold space for that. So Tracy and I are going to offer just a very open space to pick our brains about how PQ is useful, and possibly some of the struggle points for clients that have ADHD. Both of her and I are certified ADHD life coaches. And we're coming to family life because we know ADHD, or neurodifference in general, affects families. So we're here to offer space for you if it touches your life, to help you bring that intersection of PQ and neurodifference to families and support you. So bring your questions, or if you need, have a hot, button thing that you need support with, we're here to provide that the best we can.
Thank you so much for bringing this to our family life community of practice. Tracy and Cindy are chair and co-chair of PQ for ADHD and neurodiversity. So important. We'll touch again on the presentation they offered and how key that is, just as our awareness as any PQ coach. Last but certainly not least, Anurag Nambiar will be heading up the 3rd breakout. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Anurag. I'm a rising senior from Potomac, Maryland, in the US. And I guess my breakout really was going to be talking about specifically innovate with teenagers, kind of ways to make it, ways making it more like accessible and understandable to a younger audience. My experience the last couple of years with that, and also like the why, like the importance really that innovate has, especially with a younger audience in problem solving, communication, and family synergy. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up all rooms. Here we go.
Yeah, I invite reminders to record because I want to be at every one.
Please record, and please select 2 people to then report out into the main room, share out into the main room. Go ahead and select your breakouts. Thank you, Cheryl, for that reminder. I got too excited.
Understand?
And if anyone needs help getting into a breakout, I can just pop you into a breakout of your choice.
To oh, I almost thank you, Mackenzie. So in this breakout room, I'm gonna really briefly, I guess, go over how kind of the PQ Reboot Troubleshoot program presented the Innovate step of PQ coaching strategy in a fun, digestible way for kids to really understand. Now, first, a bit about me. My name is Anurag Nambiar. I'm a rising senior from Potomac, Maryland, in the United States. And I've had a couple of years of background with PQ with help of my mentor, Kenzie Hawkins, who I've known since fourth grade. I've helped facilitate the PQ Reboot Troubleshoot program as a youth leader over around the last 2 years. I'm also the PQ for Family Life Youth intern. So in this breakout room, I'll be going kind of over some ways, some strategies that I've seen kind of used over the last 2 years to really kind of break down specifically the innovate aspect of PQ coaching towards a younger bit younger audience. And a lot of that comes from my experience in PQ Reboot Troubleshoot. So what is PQ Reboot Troubleshoot? So it was a program where over 3 trimesters, kind of the PQ coaching steps were broken down and presented to kids and their families in an environment to promote better problem solving, communication, and family synergy. And I guess my role in that was I kind of helped lead the meetings and work closely with different families. And so today I'm going to go over kind of how the innovate step of coaching, what we kind of called it the innovate power there, was really broken down and kind of the why. Like, what were the impacts that I saw with especially a younger audience when they really were able to use kind of innovate in day-to-day activities with their families and stuff like that. Now, so I guess
I
personally,
just have one quick question. Because I came in late. Did you ask for volunteers who will report out into the main room?
oh, I apologize. I thought I was gonna.
No problem. Maybe we can take.
We
some
also need to
volunteers now.
record. I don't think, are we recording?
It's recording. It's recording. Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to volunteer to share in the main room?
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay,
I'll be
perfect.
your second.
And
Okay.
then the only other thing is that Anurag didn't kind of help out with the family program. He was the lead facilitator. Just wanted to share.
I'm
that.
so curious about it, but we'll save that for another time.
There will be Q&A at the end, I'm sure.
Okay.
But keep going. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, the innovate part of the PQ coaching has helped me countless times as a teenager, daily life, school, family, and just random everyday things. And the innovate game, or kind of called it the innovate superpower when we were talking with like families and younger kids, is an incredibly kind of crucial step in allowing kids to harness their creative potential towards activities or challenges they are facing. And its ability to promote a friendly, cooperative environment is really beneficial towards allowing kids to get out of their shell or comfort zone and enjoy problem solving anywhere with their family, friends, even by themselves, by fostering that positive outlook to new and unique ideas. But this can be kind of hard to throw kind of all at these young kids. So we broke it down to different components and really tried to explain that why to these kids. So first, one thing that we did to kind of start this process is we kind of just broke down kind of the different parts of Innovate almost. And Innovate kind of has that, that idea creating part, but also that like positive affirmation of that idea. And this second part can be kind of harder for kids to model as they're so used to just, coming up with different ideas. They don't really see necessarily the importance of these positive affirmations on these ideas. And so we kind of first focus on promoting that positive affirmations for these ideas. And for this, we played a game, and the program was just a lot of different games that really kind of helped foster these important lessons. And one of the first games that we played is something we call the What I Like About Blast. And in fact, we will all play it right now. So to start, we need something to blast. And this can be anything, a place, a thing, an action, or even an idea. So do any of y'all want to suggest anything that we could blast?
Summer reading.
Summer reading, amazing. Okay, so after prompting the kids for whatever thing they want to blast, we then model the blast, which is just us finding kind of one thing, even if it's really small, that we like about whatever we're blasting. For example, what I like about summer reading is it's a great way to kind of find some new authors or new genres that I might not have been interested in earlier. And I guess let's all just go around. I guess I'll take like 3, 4 volunteers just on blasting about summer reading. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. What I like about that is that I get to learn about new places or new times in history.
So what I like about that is learning about new places and history that makes me want to go and visit those places, and I begin to dream about them.
And I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong.
Elvira.
Would you like to
Um,
summer reading?
yeah, what I like about summer reading is having something to occupy my time.
What I like about summer reading is that sometimes it happens by the pool.
Well, thank y'all so much for sharing. And something we really emphasized was that it was kind of like the idea of finding something we liked, not just saying we liked something, because especially sometimes it's easy for kids to just kind of rush that part and just be like, I like summer reading, or I like swimming, or whatever, even if they don't really like it. For example, I guess just as an example, can someone give me an example of something they don't like? Like they don't really enjoy doing, or maybe it's something that they don't just like at all.
Cleaning toilets.
Amazing. Okay, so if I were to blast that, I would say what I like about cleaning toilets is having clean toilets is important. What I like about cleaning toilets is it is kind of a skill I have to learn eventually. And what I like about cleaning toilets is if I do it this week, I might not have to do it next week. And I didn't say, and kind of the way we explained is like, I didn't say I like cleaning toilets because I don't like cleaning toilets. And that would be a lie if I said I like cleaning toilets. I just found a couple of small things that I might like about cleaning toilets without necessarily having to like cleaning toilets as a whole. So quickly, I want to kind of open the floor to any of y'all. If y'all want to blast just 2, 3 maybe things about cleaning toilets things that you like about cleaning toilets.
So what I like about cleaning toilets is that I get to have a clean toilet when I look at it.
Yes, I was gonna say what I like about cleaning toilets is the result at the end, the shiny toilet.
What I like about cleaning toilets is I can get it done in under 3 minutes.
What I like about cleaning toilets is there's actually a wonderful video called Perfect Days, a film, Perfect Days, about someone who really gets in touch with inner peace through cleaning toilets.
Oh, yeah. I saw the trailer about that.
These are all really, really great. What I like about cleaning toilets. And kids can be really creative, and kind of one way we harness that, where we could also really practice that ability to find something positive, is what we called the warm-up blast. So let me demonstrate a warm-up blast. So first, I kind of need something to blast. So it's again anything that anything y'all like or just want to blast about.
About cats.
Perfect. So we're actually going to do this all together. So for now, with all our mics on, we're going to blast for 1 minute all the different things that we like about cats. In addition, we'll try to keep track of how many blasts we can do. So I'm just gonna get a timer ready for 1 minute, and we're all just gonna do these blasts about cats. Okay, 3, 2, 1, start.
What
What
I
about
like about
fuzzy
cats is I get
is
to
on
pet them. What I like
and
about
eyes.
cats
I
is
love
They're-
the color of the
they're
eyes.
so
Their eyes.
furry. What I like
love
about
how they
cats
So
purr.
cuddly.
that they're like a
They
tiger,
come
but they're
around.
smaller. What I like
I
about
love how they
cats
play.
is that they make
What I like
Yeah.
about
I love
them
that
is
I
they're
can go
there
What
when
I
I
away
like
come
about
to
cats is I
visit.
don't have to
What I like
scoop up
about
their
cats
poop.
Like
They go in
the
the litter
names,
box.
soft
What I like about
colors,
cats is that
like that
some
they're
of my
independent.
friends have cats.
I love
What I like
that.
about cats is that
Cat
you know,
is-
they look very independent.
don't
What I like
need
about cats is
constant
they come in all
attention.
kinds of
They can be
colors. What I like
quiet. They're
about
not big
cats
and
is
loud.
that
I like
even though they
Cats
shed,
are
you know, I can
But
get
the
cleaned up.
love.
And what I
They
like about
cuddle, some
cats
of them
is
anyway.
and be fun to
they
play
all
with.
kind of
Like they like to
wildness
play
about
with
them. What I like about cats
What I
is
like about
that
cats is that
what I like
they can
what
get
I like about
really
cats
friendly with
is
dogs.
their eyes are really
They
cool. What I like
Cat
about
is
cats is I think they can even see
yeah,
in
we
the dark. And what
can
I like about
all
cats
different shapes
is
What I like
and
about
they
cats is they can
be
surprise you
so cute
gently
as
from around the
kittens.
corner.
Cutest kittens. What I like
Yeah.
about cats
And they're
is
so
that they
warm and
keep
cozy.
dogs in line. And what I like about cats is that it?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess just show with your fingers how many different blasts you're able to kind of get in that 1 minute time.
Oh, probably about 10.
Great. So both kind of these warm-ups, especially, the competitive, like almost like how many different blasts you can get, kind of nature of it, and also with the previous what I like about blasts, we started moving towards groupings of 3, kind of just 3 different blasts you can come up with. All these really emphasize that, like, okay, let's come up with all these different, even tiny things we can like about something, to think positively about different ideas, even if we don't really like them, which can be hard for kids to kind of, sometimes if, kids don't like something, it's hard to really think about some of the positive aspects of it. And really practicing both these kind of different activities help almost like work that muscle of just really thinking positively, which, especially in later aspects, really came helpful. And after practicing this for a couple of weeks and really getting it down, we moved on towards kind of the Innovate part of Innovate. And a fun game we do just really before getting into Innovate is just testing with them how the opposite feels. Like, how does a pessimistic, not really open environment feel when problem solving? And for that, we gave them a prompt or problem and then asked them to go around kind of giving ideas. But each time they hear someone else's idea, they need to respond by saying, yeah, but, and find kind of anything they don't like about the idea. And this really allowed us to kind of hammer home how fundamental positive affirmations are towards any productive problem solving. And I guess we can quickly do a demo of that right now. So do any of y'all have a prompt y'all want to blast? Well, not blast, innovate on now.
I don't, but can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
So I heard for a couple weeks, you help with that new muscle of affirming things rather than just criticizing things with the blast. Okay. And then you shift to this other one. And so it's where you're generating ideas and then they experience the opposite of what happens to our creativity with the yeah, but.
Yeah, and wasn't really something like we did a lot of. It was more of like a one-time thing, just kind of to show them like, hey, I mean, y'all been practicing all these positive affirmations for so long, but how does it really kind of impact when coming up with ideas and really having that space where you feel kind of open with sharing ideas?
Okay, that's what I was looking for, was what was the frequency? So you just answered it beautifully. So it's a one-time, and I'm really appreciating how it was, you had them first really thoroughly experience affirmation and then have that reverse experience of going, oh yeah, that didn't help at all, to help them really lock in the lesson. So thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, and well, thank you so much. And I guess we can briefly do yeah buts on baking a cake. That's kind of one of the classic things that just baking, or I guess cooking, was something that came up pretty frequently. So I'll just because I know we don't have too much time in these breakouts, so I'll, like I said, 30-second timer quickly, and I will share an idea. So I think we should bake a giant cake the size of the moon. What do y'all think?
Yeah, but we don't have an oven big enough.
And do you have any other ideas that relate to baking a cake?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but we wouldn't have that. I think we should do a gingerbread cake.
Yeah, but I don't like the taste of gingerbread.
Yeah, but it takes way too long. That's too big a cake.
And we would kind of do this for a couple of times, go around, run a minute or two. And when we ask kind of, these questions, these discussion questions at the end, just really kind of gauging their experience, we kept on seeing, I mean, kind of predictably, how these yabbas and the lack of positive affirmation almost created like a stifling environment, really silencing that creativity, and making it hard for them to really feel like they wanting to share all these ideas that they had. And finally, we kind of put it all together, with Innovate itself. And I guess let's try it all together. So going back to the cake, we have to make a birthday cake. And the way we explained to them was, each time someone gives an idea, you have to catch it with what I like about the idea. And because, I mean, kids are so excited and wanting to share their ideas, really kind of, we had to portray as the importance of, okay, before you share your idea, you have to catch the other idea with what I like about. And just kind of reminding about that. So I guess we can quickly do that for 2 minutes. So I can go first. So what I like about well, I think we should make a birthday cake that is the color red.
Oh, what I like about that is so festive. The color red is so festive. I think we should make it in the shape of a Mickey Mouse.
What I like about that is Mickey Mouse is just so fun. And that makes me think of, maybe we could have two cakes. We could have one Mickey Mouse and we could have one Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, what I love about that is more cake. And um and that makes me think we could decorate them really fun with Mickey Mouse faces, Minnie and Mickey.
And what I like about that is, I think that'd be kind of a really fun activity to kind of do while baking the cake. And that makes me think, what if we made like 5 different birthday cakes? Because I mean, one birthday cake is great, but 5 is even better.
What I like about that is, yes, more cake is better. And what if we have those 5 cakes like stacked on top of, actually, what if we have like the Guinness Book of World Records tallest cake in the world?
Mhm. What I like about that is that we can have a challenge and we can make the cake. It makes me think about, we can have the cakes be different colors, different flavors.
What I like about that is all the flavors and colors, and then we can have a big party, like a block party.
What I like about that is, that sounds really, really fun, really exciting. And I think we should do it kind of like on this giant hot air balloon. It's like maybe like a hot air balloon the size of, like, I don't know, like a city or something, just a really, really big hot air balloon. I think that'd be really fun. And that's time. And I think one thing we really try to just, both with kind of, especially that, really setting in the importance of positive affirmation, but now especially with Innovate, as we practiced it with them. One thing we try to really kind of emphasize with like younger kids, especially, is kind of how it's okay to have goofy ideas. It's okay to just have random, crazy ideas, and you can worry about kind of the seriousness or like, is this feasible or whatever when you're activating. But right now, just getting as many ideas, as many kind of different ideas. And I think volume of ideas was something we really tried to emphasize, from what I like about warm-up blast, which really emphasized just getting all these different things you like about something, to these Innovate game. We really try to kind of emphasize that, creativity, just kind of come up with as many crazy ideas as you want. And I think those were just kind of different steps that we really try to like almost like harness the creativity of these kids, and create that environment where they felt comfortable sharing, and felt like they were being heard. And especially, and while we practice with a lot of silly, fun, silly ideas, especially regarding maybe more serious situations, or it could even just be like maybe they're communicating with their family or problem solving, making them feel like, okay, their voice is valid, that they deserve kind of a place to be heard. It was something we really tried to just like emphasize. And that was a lot of things. And before I guess I moved to the Q&A part, one last thing, especially as we started moving a bit away from Innovate and like Sage and Saboteurs, but also then kind of to the reboots, or just that's what we kind of called, I guess, the shifting back from the Saboteur to the Sage. Um, we had one final game I want to kind of share to y'all, which we called the reboot game. And I feel like I said it a lot of times right now, but I think a big thing again we try to emphasize, not only just coming up with all these different ideas and feeling comfortable to share, but also just like versatility. And I think that's one thing that the the reboot game, which I'll briefly explain, really kind of emphasized. And how we played the the reboot game, and I think we have time to play it briefly here today, is we basically, someone would just do a reboot, whatever reboot they wanted to do, could be anything, and they would then pick someone and they would pass it to someone else, and that person would have to basically again catch that reboot by copying it to the best of their ability, and then they would do their own reboot and pass to someone else. And these reboots would be just informative PQ reps, that they just wanted to do things that they felt comfortable doing. And yeah, I guess we can do it really briefly. So I can start. I'm gonna pass this reboot of just rubbing my fingers to Mackenzie.
And then I'm going to do a brave breath. And pass it to Kathy.
I'm going to do it to hugging myself and pass it to O'Hara.
Mhm. I'm gonna do a little tapping and pass it to Karima.
And I'm gonna listen for the dog barking and the cars outside and pass it to Anurag.
Okay. And going back to again just the why, I mean, we really saw kind of by allowing kids to just share what these different PQ reps that they found to be useful, that through their experience that they liked, and sharing it. I mean, other kids could benefit from that. And a really great example was one kid, he had this rep where he kind of moved his fingers like this. And I mean, a couple of weeks later, other kids were kind of using it, other families were using it too. And I mean, this was just really a kind of a great like opportunity for them to just share what worked, what they liked, and kind of just have that floor open for allowing them to just really feel like, hey, this worked for me, and I just wanted to share it to y'all. And yeah, I think that was a lot of stuff that I kind of went over. I think I'm gonna open the floor to Q&A now. Well, thank you all so much, by the way.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Karina.
have a question. So how did you document all this? Like, is there a process for all of these different, how you took the families through the saboteurs and the sage? And was it the whole program that I guess I'm curious about how it all worked.
There, it was documented, and there was kind of like these almost kind of like a, I forgot the word, but like like in schools where it's like you go through different kind of like steps
A
almost.
lesson plan?
Yeah, a lesson plan. Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a kind of a lesson plan over the weeks that was kind of followed to really, and I kind of just mainly focused on like how we broke down Innovate. And that was kind of over the course of a couple of weeks. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. I have more questions, but I'll wait for others if they have them.
I was wondering if you had any stories to share about like the effect on the kids or the families, like
Oh.
any stories that they shared.
Oh, definitely. I mean, from my experience, because I saw kind of a transformation over a couple of months. And I know especially in the beginning, um, especially when they first kind of just started, in like I think it was like last September almost, with different activities. It was really hard. It was harder to kind of get kids to share. I mean, obviously with Zoom and all, sometimes kids are not really comfortable like talking and all that, but also just kind of even in like family environments where they didn't really want to maybe like share, or they didn't really feel like that like their idea or whatever was like kind of, I guess, important enough. And then really kind of the transformation, I mean, just even just last couple of weeks, the change in family dynamic, family synergy, kids feeling like, okay, what I want to share, the ideas that I have are valid and can play an important role in my family. And I think that was a really almost like magical transformation. And I mean, one thing that we kind of did at the very end was this kind of like almost capstone project where kids and families could work together on these, what we call like family charters, where kids themselves can almost give their own voice on kind of different aspects of their family, the contributions that everyone made, what we call like rights and like privileges and stuff like that. And I think this really kind of weaving in, especially Innovate, over these couple of weeks, really created that environment where kids felt comfortable that sharing their ideas, and that their ideas were important to their families. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thanks.
So was this over a 7-week or 8 weeks or something, or was it 2 months?
It was over a couple, I think it was almost over like almost a whole school year actually.
A whole school year.
Yeah.
Wow. And so was this like a test? I guess this is a test drive that you did with families. Is that right, Mackenzie? Is that available to be able to, like I'm starting a pod for teenagers and I have 4 and I've just been trying to figure out how to present it. And I wondered if that might be available.
Right now, we're focusing on young kids, and what Anurag is so beautifully offering here is just how this can be universally shared. By again, this emphasis on, one of the things that I've found is that, many times when people begin to share PQ, they go right into judge, right into, sage and saboteur. And what Anurag has offered here is this on-ramp that then can lead into so much possibility with young people.
I see. So this is where you started before you went into anything else.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Just so getting everybody to share first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear a lot of laying the groundwork so that they learn.
I got so used to Anurag just taking care of everything in my breakout. I forgot that I was the main facilitator and I needed to unmute so that we could carry on.
Love it.
Love.
So,
Yes, that's it, Cindy. Thank you. Sorry.
yes, wonderful. So this is our time to share out into the main room, and maybe we can start with Amy Moser's breakout. And who are your representatives that will give us that glimpse into what magic happened in your breakout?
I think Karen, I tapped on her. She has never been here before. So it's a totally new experience for her to summarize it. So just gonna go with it, Karen, because we're winging it.
Okay, let's wing it. This is my first time, and I just loved being able to share different ways we did navigate, like how to share our knowledge with our, well, this is what I wrote. Yeah, we shared what our older, wiser self would tell us and how to connect with our family. And we found creative ways of connecting without proximity. So we brought up like writing or just in prayer or thinking about them without our family's presence. We also talked about how we had a blank canvas in front of us and what we each saw in that canvas relating to our families. And we had some just creative ways in visualizing us running in the field, just shouting or embracing emotions, or I mentioned like going into the waves and trusting our journey. So it was a very creative, safe space. I love this group, and I will definitely try to get up extra early whenever we meet. So that's a brief summary. I hope that's sufficient.
Thank you, Karen. That was wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Amy, for just bringing in the sage powers. Bringing in the sage powers for us to collectively tap into that and bring that into our families with new navigate, new innovate. All right, let's hear from anyone who's representing Tracy and Cindy and what you would like to share out into the main room from that breakout.
I'm quite happy to speak if Sigrid and Claudia are happy with that. We were sharing experiences, really, listening to each other's stories of how and where we are with in our own family spaces with ADHD and various neurodivergencies and within our own families. So it was quite raw and vulnerable in little places what we were sharing, and the problems that we can have when we wish to share our life, share PQ with other members within the family because they may or may not wish to hear because they're not in the right space. There was a lot of resource sharing. I'm just going through our chat again about what was getting put in. So, and also how the menopausal and perimenopausal brain influences the brain chemistry that happens that can increase so many outside signs with ADHD as well. So there was a recommendation of the menopause brain by Lisa Mosconi. There was a wellness clinic for women, Mary Claire Haver. The new menopause, that was that book. Estrogen Matters by somebody else. And then the other resources, Additude and chad.org, just all about the education that it's so useful to have with neurodiversity as well as we are experiencing neurodiversity within our families. I think that's kind of, there was more that was going on, but I think that's in essence, it felt very, very supportive and nurturing for everybody who was there.
So if you haven't as well, we have posted the presentation that Tracy and Cindy made. That is so just foundational for what every PQ coach can know about neurodiversity and ADHD. That is posted in our PQ for Family Life app channel, and I hear it's going to be even featured in the upcoming newsletter. So such a thank you to Tracy and Cindy for making these resources and this greater awareness and holding space for these very vulnerable conversations that can be so healing. let us now wrap up with Kathy and Karima representing a share out from what Anurag shared with us.
Great. Okay, so this was so amazing. Anurag did such a fabulous job sharing with us how he brought the Innovate superpower for kids. And as I saw it, as they made a game out of it, but the idea was not to just present the PQ, but do a lot of building into what PQ could offer. So they started from sort of making the teenagers comfortable sharing and recognizing that they have value as part of their family. And they did these blasts of, what I like about that. And just to get the idea that you can have crazy ideas, but they're all valuable, and to build on that, to catch on that, to build on that. So he gave us, we did some examples of that. The first one we did was summer reading, and we demonstrated that. Then we looked at, getting the point across that you don't have to like the idea itself, but that there might be something that you might like about it. So the example was cleaning toilets. While nobody likes to clean toilets, but there might be something that we might like about it, like having a clean bathroom. So that was a way to get across that you don't have to like the whole idea, but there might be something about it that you might like. Then we talked, did another blast with cats. Am I going too long?
I'm just gonna no, I just want to divide the voices. So Karima, thank you so much for bringing us there. And just in the sake of time, Kathy, anything you'd like to add further?
Yes, one of the things that really stood out with what Anurag did, and by the way, he facilitated groups, so big shout out to you on the work you're doing, is how you broke it down into digestible phases and how you spent extra amounts of time in it. You didn't hurry it. So you helped them understand the why of positive. So we focused on Innovate and the why of positive affirmations. And I loved how you helped them experience positive affirmations as a way to build on ideas and get that experience going, and then discuss that experience, and then later gave them a one-time yeah, but impact of reminding them what it feels like to have everything, discounted instead. And that looking at the two to be able to really land your learning was brilliant.
Thank you, Kathy. Just for the sake of time, we'll wrap up so that people who need to leave at the hour, we just want to keep that commitment. Again, thank you for joining. I hope that you come away refueled in spirit and inspiration, and with practical ideas for integrating into your own family and into your own coaching. And as you know, this is where we transition, where if you need to go, we thank you so much for the hour of your time spent. And if you'd like to stay on and hang out in our sandbox, we have a 30-minute sandbox to continue the discussions and just see what is present for each of us in our community of practice. But this is thank you for those who are dropping off now. Thank you so much. And we're doing a little, I haven't made it where secret special magic happens, but thank you. And we'll begin to transition here. So best wishes for the rest of your week and your month until we meet again. If we're
Thank you.
And we'll just take a moment and do some inner PQ reps as the Zoom meeting settles down and we see who is going to stay for sandbox. Here we are. Just a moment I'd like to thank our special guests who have given their time extra to to serve and to help others. So starting with Tracy and Cindy, thank you for not only leading your own COP, and goodness knows we have a sense here of what all that involves in terms of service, and then hopping over and really offering what you can share with us as well too. And we'd like just to stand by as communities of practice in terms of anything that we can do to help the wider PQ coach community become more aware of these topics. Is there anything you would like to further share about your experience here or hopes for the future?
I think for me, it's like a huge thank you just to bring us here, like to invite us in. I mean, I show up, I actually started here and then our COP developed, but to be here and know how much neurodifference has affected my family and to have PQ in support in as a mom, as I show up as a mom, that's always been my first hat since having children, since being pregnant, I guess. And now my kids are getting, you know, I've got a high school grad now. So it's wild to me how transformational this has been, but to help us lay down the stigma and to bring presence and conversation around this, it's just absolutely heartwarming to me because it makes me feel like there's possibility for my kids and then their kids. And I mean, so much of what was shared just shows how it is in families and how you can trace it. And knowing that that shows up in science when we start having a conversation around this, it helps people become their greatest selves because they can find their strengths. PQ can support their regulation, can give them SAGE, and it creates possibility. So I want to just thank you for providing the space for us to hold, you know, I mean, a lot of it was sharing. It wasn't a lot of questions, you know, how do you get somebody to take in PQ? Well, I kind of brought that up in our own COP yesterday of like, my family is a really late adopter, like really late. And we're still working on the adopter part. And I've been practicing for a long time, but I know that they're already like, it's almost like they're getting it, even though they don't know that they're doing it. They can see it and they start talking it a little bit. It's almost like they don't know what they've got because they haven't done the program. So I'm going to be going back and listening to how to bring this into my teens. So I can't wait to listen to that breakout. But thank you. It's just like an outpouring for having us here.
I have to say though that, you know, Mackenzie, when you said PQ for family life is where the rubber hits the road, that's so true. And I appreciate all the pioneering that you and your team have done for the last 2.5 years. We appreciate kind of seeing where you are in the journey with your COP. So we kind of, okay, you know, we appreciate what you and your team bring, and it's given us a lot to. We have used some of your tools because it's like, oh, that's fabulous. Let's do that. And so we appreciate how you show up, and it's been a wonderful learning experience for us for how, you know, how to shift from kind of doing to being a COP. Is that, if that makes sense?
Doing and being. I want to spread that presentation that you made everywhere. So again, just let me know how as a community practice we can help rally the wider PQ coach community, and how we can really stand in solidarity for breaking open this whole conversation that is very vulnerable, and that then ripples through the generations, just like Cindy was talking about. Anurag, how scary are we? Anything you would like to share? By the way, you facilitated so beautifully. Truly, it was wonderful to watch. Thank you for your sharing, your presentation, and your answers. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me here. And I mean, I was more than happy to kind of talk about all the kind of different, you know, things we've been doing for the last couple of months. And I mean, this was a really, really insightful kind of session, kind of meeting. Definitely heard so many like different perspectives about PQ that I didn't even know about, and now it's like kind of like the reach and like, the impact is actually crazy. But yeah, very inspiring. I heard so much from the last hour. And yeah.
Thank you for being our special guest today, and thank you for being a leader that people can look to in terms of, oh wow, you know, PQ is not only something I can maybe begin to bring to my teenager, but maybe my 17-year-old could help inspire even younger kids to embrace the power of positive affirmations, as you were talking about in the breakout. So this is now just fully open space of what would we like to share? What would we like to get into? We'll meander along and see what emerges.
So the presentation that Anurag did was absolutely beautiful. I have two 14-year-olds, and you know, we're wanting to start to bring this in a more practical way. I mean, they're aware of it. I mean, we talk about it briefly. They see me doing my work, and you know, I talk about how it can be calming, but the elements of introducing it in a game, I mean, and that's what I was trying to figure out, like how does this become something that they can really relate to? And I was starting to build some cahoots around some of the learnings, but this kind of game, this is beautiful. And so it's been such a great privilege to have your insight, Anurag, as to what really gets them engaged. And the on-ramping, that's beautiful as well. So thank you very much.
So something I'm appreciating about that is I think a lot of times as we're helping even adults, right, they go through the PQ program, right, this 7-8 weeks, and it's a fire hose. And then it's the space where we need to help them break it down to really digest and understand. And that's what I appreciated about Anurag's, what you were talking about was helping them understand, like Innovate, right? As an adult, we can get it in our head, but I heard you helping learn it at a heart, full body level, where it's understanding the difference between what happens to our creativity, our ability to collectively think together when we use a positive affirmation, to finding the 10% I truly like or value, not just grabbing something. And I also appreciate the idea of phasing in that understanding, right? Where you really break it down and not rushing it, right? 2 weeks, multiple weeks on just one thing. And then I really do love that idea of the yeah, but blast as the opposite, right? It makes me think of, it makes me think of a lot of funny things, right? And I can imagine even making an adult game, right? Where we do a yeah, but blast game that then has another kind of blast added to it, right? Where you help people get it without getting it. It's kind of like with what Cindy was saying, right? People who haven't gone through the program, you can begin to help them understand these concepts. And it started like, where else could I have fun with that? And one of the ones that wasn't spoken of that I think is really fun is the pass the reboot game. So if everybody thinks of PQ reps, right, is shifting from saboteur to your positive sage brain, and to reboot. And the pass the reboot game is where one person shares their favorite, maybe it's this or it's something unique, and then they pass it to somebody else, and that person adds their favorite. So basically, it's adding their favorite PQ rep style, and so it's building on understanding each other and what works for each other, but also getting really creative, wonderful ideas to try. And that's really fun too. And I love that idea of rebooting, right? Because then it's like I'm rebooting my system. and it makes it fun. So
Mm. I'm curious, Anurag, anything you'd like to add on to or respond to for Kathy? A couple of things came to my mind, but I'll hear from you first.
yeah, and Cindy has a note in the chat that would be an interesting one to read too.
Okay. Mhm.
I mean, I'm very like, I guess, very happy that like you found kind of all these like different parts of it like really useful. And yeah, I think definitely kind of we tried to make it like a lot more like kind of drawn out and just really making sure kind of it wasn't just like rushed, and because there's like a difference between like doing it and then like really understanding it. And I think application was a big kind of thing. I know especially near the later ones, we really tried to make it something that they do it with their families outside of the just kind of these meetings, and we tried to keep them accountable to that, and really kind of setting that foundation, especially with the Innovate that we started with, that foundation where they understand and they're like, oh, well, like what, like how does this impact my creativity? How does this impact the way I communicate with my family? And then seeing those benefits, and then they're more likely to then actually use that in the like real world, because it's like one thing to tell them, but it's another thing to like for them to really understand it through their own actions, how it works.
You know, one of the things you could share with them after they get the hang of it, I work with a lot of leaders in their teams, so adults is predominantly who I work with, and they would go in and the environment, they couldn't change the whole environment, right? The environment had toxicity in it, but they would go in and just begin to use the Innovate power, much like you said, right? They insisted and they went in and found the 10% every time. And what was interesting is over time, their teammates began to copy them and do the same thing. So they didn't have to explain what they were doing. They didn't have to come in and try to force a change. They were just the change. And so sometimes when we have people who go through a transformational work and they get it, they go back into the environment and the environment doesn't change quickly, but we can give them the hope that, hey, you will be that drop that changes the water chemistry and what happens. So I really love what you're doing.
I'm curious, how long were these sessions with the teens or the kids?
They were like around like Mackenzie, correct me if I got the timing a bit off, but I think around 45 minutes to an hour every Sundays, 7:30-ish to like 8:15-ish. A lot of times they went a bit over, but that was my bad.
I'm just kidding you, Anurag.
But I mean, there's so much things to kind of go over for these weekly sessions that we had in 3 different trimesters.
Lovely. Okay, thank
I'll
you.
make just 2 quick comments, and then I see emergence around PQ for schools. Would be wonderful to have a discussion around that. Would love to hear the voice of Diane as well, who's already contributing in the chat. First time to joining us today, so love that. Just dive right in. Just 2 quick comments. You know, beneath all the fun and games, there was 2 guiding things that really led me to this sense of this on-ramp and the sense of experiential and embodied learning. Just like Anurag was saying, it's one thing to kind of know it up here, but if you actually get to play act it, you're that much more ready to then act it in your life. And so this actually came a lot out of PQ Mastery. So even that contrast between the yeah buts and the Innovate game, it's an embodied experience. You actually get to feel what it's like to be in the environment of the yeah buts, and you actually get to feel what it's like to be in that where you know that someone's going to catch your idea with a what I like about. And then the past the reboots, that's a form of social meditation. So this is also another thing that is gaining ground. And so it's a way to help key young people in, because they are naturally keyed into their peers and to the group around them. And so by bringing in that social meditation where you're all doing the PQ rep together, and then you're selecting the next person to be doing the PQ rep, and then they lead the next one. It takes it away from the hierarchy to a social group dynamic that can really feel comforting and engaging for young people. So that's my geek out of pedagogy. I give a lot of thought to this. And let's open it up for PQ for schools, because that is where the broader impact is going to be happening. So anyone would like to voice things that might be coming up? I can't keep track of the chat all and be fully present, so you can voice it directly into the space.
So my original inquiry is from someone who reached out to our COP to serve schools with individuals who have, I don't know, well, the right word's not kicked out, but they've been kicked out of mainstream school, and wanting to know how PQ could support this group and if it would be appropriate. Although I would love to work in schools, my school system getting into it has been like next to a nightmare. Like I can't pull the strings or whatever that it takes to get them. Maybe I'm not saying it right. I don't know. But it's a platform I'm passionate about, but not versed in. So I feel like I can support the neurodivergent part of this conversation, but I can't support the school part of the conversation. So I was coming here knowing that at one point there was some school focus and not remembering, because that doesn't always cooperate, who's doing what. So just looking for support for that area. And I do have to drop off because I have a client, so I'm going to stay a little bit longer. But that's where the conversation started.
Hey, Cindy, is
Yes.
the person who reached out to you, are they a PQ coach?
Yes, recent
Okay.
graduate of, I don't know, I haven't gotten that far. So I'm like trying to do my homework before. I mean, I've been in contact, but I haven't like picked where they're at. I know they're in the UK. So
Okay.
I'm dealing with time zone issues and just collaborating between them. But recently, I guess I'll go to the email. Let me answer the question in a second.
And then since you might drop off soon, just I'm happy to connect with them to help them think it through a little bit. I have experience with long haul kind of breaking into things.
Okay, so they called
happy to
themselves
chat.
that'd be great. They called themselves a newbie PQ coach.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know the definition of what that means for that individual.
Yeah.
But that would be wonderful. I'll reach out to you. And I
Yeah.
know Diane already met, and I'm looking there. Oh, Diane's still here. So I will reach out and just I try when somebody reaches out to some, through the community, support as best I can, but I don't know this area, even though I would love the answer. Like, someone tell me, how can I bring this to the world, especially youth? So I'm like fascinated by Anurag, what you've done, and I know Mackenzie, you're doing a ton. So just pulling the threads.
Yeah. Cindy, send them the link for registering for my monthly group, because that might be another place for a group to be able to come and talk about schools as a group.
Okay, so your 90-minute, I'm going all the way up to find it.
The
mentor coaching.
I'll email it to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I can pull it. I've got it. The mentor coaching one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I already copied it. I'm on
the
it.
first Friday. Yeah.
Yep.
You can that way, and also I think you and I are connected on LinkedIn, so LinkedIn is another way you could do it.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Two things
Appreciate that.
are just on my mind. Elvira, I'd love for you to voice what you voiced in the chat, and just want to also make sure that we hear Diane's voice as well too. So go ahead, Elvira. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Diane.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to share about this topic?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it looks like you have a traffic controlling. All right, Diane, coming on.
Just that I worked in schools throughout the year, so I just wanted to offer if Cindy needed a time to just brainstorm ideas
Thank
and
you.
just get a better sense of what you're looking for.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've already started an email to you. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks.
Yes, I was just gonna say that I know there had been in the past a community of practice for schools, and that I'm feeling it would be wonderful just to have a group that, it doesn't have to be a community of practice, but just a group email or however we communicate. I did have, great results with teaching a group of staff members at a school. And I'd love to build on that and just see it go into schools. Mhm.
Well, you know, as our communities of practice merge, historically, we had a PQ for schools, community of practice. And what we do here as PQ for family life is, you know, we offer what is there of interest, right? And who is willing to lead that. So, you know, we could have, for example, we could have breakout rooms regularly on the topic of PQ for schools, so that you wouldn't have to set up something separate, and it would actually be, we'd be able to hear what is coming up, and we'd be able to integrate more fully. So we can just be in touch. I'm can look at the schedule of what's going to be available in terms of breakout rooms. Would be great. Do you feel if there was a breakout on like just PQ for schools discussion, come together, you can begin to network, see who else is interested, see where we're at there. Would that be something you would come to? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Then we can set that up. And you know, our community channel is a little quiet, and that's okay. That's okay. But you can post things in our PQ for Family Life channel, and very often it becomes the start of that personal networking of who is working on what.
I'll put that in the community channel, like just to create a thread about who's interested in school. Respond below. And Diane, the recordings are found. Do you know how to go on the app to community? And then you go to PQ for Family Life. It is pinned to the top.
Anything else that's present here we'd like to share? I have another event at the half hour that I cannot be late for, so I might even pass the baton off so I can take, you know, 2 minutes of PQ reps before I have to be on for the next one. But just want to see what is here, what is present in terms of the final minutes of our sandbox.
I guess I'd say I would be really interested in having some more conversations about, and maybe schools is the same thing, but teens and how this can really help teens in the context of the anxiety that is coming up and why that's all happening.
And Karima, would you be willing to host a discussion on that topic?
Oh, wow, my goodness. Yeah, I guess I would need some support to get it together.
No, it would just be, for example, in a breakout, you just, you know, we create a discussion topic and you would be the one just facilitating that discussion of that, on that topic of teens and anxiety.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Any other voices that we have? Amy Moser, we haven't heard your voice. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going okay. I'm in the UK too, so I know maybe I'll check with was it Cindy was looking for something around that, but yeah, I've had kind of a long week, so already, and it's only Tuesday. My kids are both taking exams, and they are pretty heavy here. So yeah, anxiety in teenagers is something that I am quite well versed in. So I look forward
How
to
are you
that.
feeling as a teenager and anxiety? How you holding up?
Yeah.
We need to go. All right. Thank you so much for this time of inspiration and connection. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.